Good afternoon, everyone. I cordially welcome you all for the third lecture of the short course on Cultural Linkages Towards an Asian Ideology. Today, we are focusing on regional cooperation and logistics outsourcing in Asia. The agenda for today is such that the lecture is scheduled to be for 45 minutes with a short break of 5 minutes, followed by another 30 minutes of the lecture and a question and answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now have the honor of introducing our guest lecturer, Dr. Vasantha Premaratne, Senior Lecturer and Head of the Department of Management and Finance in the Faculty of Management, Social Sciences and Humanities at the General Sir John Kothawala Defence University. Our esteemed guest holds a BA Honours in International Economics from the Rajarata University, an MA in Economics from the University of Peradeniya, an MPhil in Economics from the University of Kelaniya, and a PhD in Supply Chain Management from KDU. Dr. Premaratne has many years of experience in university-level teaching and research. In addition to his role as an academic at KDU, he serves as a visiting and guest lecturer at esteemed institutions such as the Ocean University of Sri Lanka, Army School of Logistics of Sri Lanka, the Junior Command and Staff College of the Air Force Academy of Sri Lanka, and the University of Colombo. Dr. Premaratne's research and teaching center around topics such as internet banking, supply chain management, consumer price index, economics, and business mathematics, to name a few. Sir, we are deeply honored to have you present here with us, and we warmly welcome you to conduct this lecture on regional cooperation and logistics outsourcing in Asia. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, first of all, thank you very much, Dr. Hemantha Premaratne, coordinator of the short course on cultural linkages towards an Asian ideology 2021-2022. Thank you very much, Dr. Hemantha Premaratne, senior lecturer, invited to conduct the lecture on regional cooperation and logistics outsourcing in Asia. Thank you very much. Okay, now our topic is to talk about logistics outsourcing and the regional cooperation. So therefore, we will look at how regional cooperation helps logistics outsourcing and logistics outsourcing helps regional cooperation. So that is the main core of our lecture. I know that in this class or in this lecture, we have participants from different disciplines. Maybe a few of you have gone to this logistic field. Maybe others are new to this logistic field. So therefore, I thought that it is important to talk few main areas and then come to the topic, because without proper understanding of these areas and technical terms, so we cannot discuss further. So therefore, we will spend some time and we will try to understand here the main part of the topic. So regional cooperation and logistics outsourcing. So in this topic, I'm going to pay more attention to, at the initial stage of the lecture, I'm going to pay attention to understand the idea of logistics and logistics outsourcing. Without having proper idea of logistics and logistics outsourcing, we cannot talk about the regional cooperation and logistics outsourcing. So therefore, let's try to understand what is logistics and what is logistics outsourcing. So logistics, actually, this logistics subject is not a new subject or new field. So then after World War II, so we are talking about logistics. And the supply chain management concept came after the concept of logistics. Even outsourcing concepts also came after maybe the concept of supply chain management. So therefore, we will see how do we separate these ideas: logistics management, and the logistics outsourcing. So we will look at those angles first. Now, the logistics outsourcing is a part of logistics management. So logistics management, under that, what we do, we are trying to understand what are the logistics activities of an organization. So when we talk about the logistics activities of an organization, we are talking about transportation, we are talking about distribution, we are talking about inventory management, we are talking about warehousing, we are talking about the purchasing, procurement management, export management, import management. So those are the areas we are talking under logistics management or logistics. So those are within the organization. Most of the time, when we talk about logistics management, we talk about the logistic management of that particular organization. And when you look at the relationship between logistics management and outsourcing or logistics outsourcing, we discuss under logistics management. And logistics management, we discuss under supply chain management. So therefore, now we saw the relationship, how the logistics management relate to, or the how outsourcing or the logistic outsourcing relate to logistics management, and how logistics management relate to supply chain management. So that is the relationship we have. So we have the big picture, that is supply chain management. Inside that, we have logistics management. Under logistics management, one activity is logistics outsourcing. So therefore, not only logistics outsourcing, there are different angles of logistics management, but today our focus is about logistics outsourcing. Now, when we talk about logistics, so then we start that logistics process from raw material that we call source. We are talking about logistics management from the source. And then at the end, you or the customer will receive a good. So then throughout that chain, what are the different activities we are facing relevant to these distribution and warehousing, inventory management, and as I mentioned earlier, export and import management? Those activities we call logistics activities. Again, as I mentioned in the topic, when we use the term logistics, so it should be logistics but not logistic. So that, because we have observed that most of the time, even industry and the academia, so then we use logistic, but I think when you are referring that one, it is important to use S, because it should be logistics. So then under logistics, what we do, we are going to plan first, then implement. After that, control. That planning, implementing, then controlling. Then what we do, we think about the forward and reverse flow. Forward and reverse flow of the goods, services, and related information. So when we are going to think about that forward and reverse flow of goods, services, and information, that flow should be effective and efficient. So that way, we have to plan, implement, and control. So now, when we talk about the logistics, we are talking between the point of origin and the point of consumption. So if you take a water bottle, so point of origin we have, and the consumption point maybe in the office, we consume that one, and we have the plant, the bottle, and we have all the logistics activities, then that will come to you and we consume that one. So that is the scope of logistics management. So now, why do we do this logistics management? So what is the purpose? We are doing logistics management to what? In order to meet customer requirement. So now, why do we do this outsourcing, logistic outsourcing? Again, the end goal is what? To fulfill the customer requirement. So what are the customer want? And that want we have to what? Fulfill. So then we recognize their requirement, then we are fulfilling. To fulfill that requirement, we have to use logistics management. So then now I think we have some idea about what is this logistics management. So if I repeat that one, as I mentioned earlier, we start this logistics management from the source. That means we have the raw material, and then we go through the entire process, we come to the end customer. So then when we go through that journey, we are facing different nodes. Those nodes we call supply chain node, because entire chain we call supply chain. At the same time, when we talk about the logistics management, most of the time we are talking within the organization. Logistic management within the organization. When we are talking supply chain management, what we do, we are talking the entire network, not within, not only one company. It is a network. That is why we call supply chain management. So therefore we have to pay more attention to logistics component in order to what? Develop our supply chain. So then in logistics management, nowadays, logistics outsourcing play a big role. So that is why even for this lecture, we include the topic, then the regional cooperation and the logistics outsourcing. So because the logistic outsourcing is that much important. And logistic outsourcing is an important part of entire logistic process in the entire supply chain. Okay, so now with that background understanding, we will look at what are the organizations they are into this logistic field or the supply chain field. So if you take any organization or any field, you know that there are a lot of organizations to develop that field, to support it, to develop maybe common vocabulary, to develop maybe definition, to think about the growth of that field, to maybe talk about the work ethics and the scope, to define scope. There are professional bodies. So in this logistics field, these are some of the professional bodies. So you can see few names: Council of Supply Chain Management Professionals, and the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, Institute of Supply and Material Management, the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, UK, and also we have some other organization, Reverse Logistics Association, Supply Chain Council. So these are the professional bodies, and their role, they develop this logistic field. They develop this supply chain field. So then they gather professionals in the field, and they develop what are the work ethics, what is the scope. So how do they conduct those activities? How do they develop those logistics activities? What are the invention, innovative ideas? And they share their knowledge. They conduct education program, and they influence different parties to enhance this field. So then those are the roles of these professional bodies in the world. So in Sri Lanka, the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport is famous, as well as ISMM. So these are the famous professional bodies in Sri Lanka. Right. So now when we look at the importance of the supply chain management or this logistics management subject, we can look at that in two angles: societal role of supply chain management and business impact of supply chain management. Actually, today, our focus is about that societal role of supply chain management, because we are talking about the regional cooperation. So then how the supply chain management or the logistics outsourcing helps to improve regional cooperation. So under that societal role of supply chain management, we can see that ensure human survival. Because nowadays we are facing a lot of challenges with that COVID pandemic situation, and also we are facing a lot of other natural disasters and man-made disasters. So therefore, this ensure human survival, that aspects of logistics management is very, very important. Also, as a result of logistics management, improve quality of life. Even this outsourcing, the today topic, will help us to improve quality of life and also protect cultural freedom. So with the development of outsourcing, with the development of supply chain management, with the development of logistics management, we can see that we can protect our cultural freedom. So whatever the country, wherever you go, you can consume what we want. You can purchase item according to your requirement. So therefore, that cultural freedom we have. So we can wear what we want, or we can eat what we want, and we can consume what we want. So legal, I am not talking about illegal item, legal item. So those are possible, those things are possible because of the development of this outsourcing, because of the development of this supply chain management. As well as if you look at the importance of supply chain management, we have the business impact. That also very important, because nowadays we are talking about regional development. So under the regional development, the role played by supply chain management is very, very important. So under that business impact of supply chain management, you can see that boost customer service. Customers are very happy now. So because the customers, they want the quality service, they want the quality item, they want durable item, they want at affordable price. So in that angle, supply chain management can play a big role, and also they improve the financial position. So even under outsourcing, we will discuss later, the companies, the organizations, they can improve their financial position, and also they reduce operating cost. So one aspect of logistics outsourcing is to what? Reduce operating cost. So that also we will discuss. Now these are the different angles or different areas we can achieve by improving the supply chain, by improving or by engage in logistics outsourcing, we can gain this benefit. So now we can see this logistic field or the supply chain field or the outsourcing field can impact the society at vast scale. You can see now. So in one angle, that is societal, the social, and the other angle, business. In both angles, supply chain management will benefit the society. So that is why we want to discuss this field, this topic in details. Okay. So now with that, we will try to understand what is this logistics outsourcing, right? What is this logistics outsourcing? So earlier we saw that logistics outsourcing is coming under logistics management, and the logistics management is coming under supply chain management. So that it is clear now. And also we saw that if you look at the entire supply chain, we start our supply chain from the raw material, and it is going to different supply chain node, and at the end we come to a consumer, then the consumer will consume the item. If you look at the real picture of supply chain management, actually we are not going to stop at that level. Then what we do, we start what? Reverse logistics. Even when we talk about the reverse logistics outsourcing can play a big role there, even in reverse logistics, because we have forward logistics from the source, it is come to the consumer. Logistics outsourcing can play a big role. Once this come to the consumer, then we start reverse logistics. In that angle also, logistics outsourcing can play a big role. So then let's see how this logistics outsourcing is going to play a role in forward logistics and the reverse logistics, and that impact what? The regional cooperation. So that we will talk. Okay, so then with that angle, let's try to understand what is this outsourcing. Here, we should not get confused between outsourcing and logistics outsourcing. Our topic is not about outsourcing. Our topic is about what? Our topic is about logistics outsourcing. So then what is the difference between outsourcing and logistics outsourcing? So for example, if you take an organization, we outsource cleaning, right? We outsource cleaning, and we outsource maybe our repair activities. We outsource security. So those angles we are not talking. We are talking about logistics outsourcing, mean outsourcing of what? Logistics function, right? So then we have a list of logistics function, and then we are talking about what? Outsourcing of those functions. So therefore, don't get confused with between outsourcing and logistics outsourcing, because that security we don't include into the scope of logistics management, And cleaning, we don't include into the scope of the logistics management. But we include what? Transportation, as I mentioned earlier, warehousing, inventory management, and export-import management, custom clearance, and maybe procurement side, and maybe demand forecasting. Those are the areas we include into what? To the scope of logistics management. Right. Okay. At the same time, we will look at the definition or the idea of this logistics outsourcing, an arrangement where one company provide services to another company that would otherwise have been implemented in-house. We have a list of logistics activities. Those activities should be performed by all the organizations in the world. So if you take a manufacturing organization, that organization should perform those logistic activities. But under outsourcing, what we do, we remove some of the activities and we hand over to third party, different party. Otherwise, we have to perform those activities. So I am a manufacturer. While I am producing my good, I have to deal with lot of logistics activities. I should deal with lot of logistic activities. But I feel it is difficult for me actually. Sometimes it is maybe not economical to do that one. Or maybe I can't manage. So there can be several strategic reasons behind outsourcing. However, I decided to outsource some of the logistics activities to a third party. So that is the idea of what outsourcing. At the moment I am doing those activities, but I remove few or maybe several, then I hand over to a third party. Otherwise, I have implemented in-house, but now I remove that one. That is outsourcing. So outsourcing occurs when one company hires another company to manage, maintain, and run some portion of its business. So under outsourcing, as I mentioned earlier, the entire management of that particular activity we hand over to a third party. So if you look at the picture here, we have outsource and hire. Outsource and hire not equal actually. These two are not equal. Therefore, we should not get confused between what? Outsourcing and hiring. Under hiring, the organization is managing those activities. Under hiring. For example, you can hire some vehicle and you can do your task. So the organization is managing. But under outsourcing concept, we are not managing it. We are not managing it. For example, that particular activity we have outsourced, then that outsourcing company, because in the world we have outsourcing market, right? Outsourcing market. In the outsourcing market, we have the outsourcing service providers and the customers. Service providers, what they do, they offer logistics services. And from the other side, we have the manufacturers or the service providers. Service mean other service providers. They purchase logistics services. So therefore, in the outsourcing market, we have demand and supply, right? So then what I'm mentioning now, the outsourcing and hiring not equal. From the outsourcing market, you will take an organization. Let's say you hire an organization, but I am hiring to manage. That word management is very important. Why? Because you will ask that particular organization to manage that particular activity on behalf of you. Then you don't involve. You trust that organization. Because you have the trust between what? That third party and your organization. So therefore, the third party is going to do that function on behalf of you. So, but under hiring, not like that. What we do, under hiring, what we do, we just take that particular resource and we manage. To understand that very well, vehicle. We hire vehicle and we manage it. If you are managing, that is not outsourcing. So therefore, I hope that now you have a clear understanding about what is hiring and what is outsourcing. So therefore, these two, we should not get confused. So in this topic, we are not talking about hiring. We are talking about what? Logistics outsourcing. That means entire part will managed by a third party, different part, and we don't involve. You just tell the requirement and they will fulfill it. Right? That is why hiring and outsourcing not equal. Look at the second picture here. So then this second picture is relevant to courier company. We know that in Sri Lanka and even in this Asian region, we have large number of courier service companies. And you want to send a parcel or a letter from one country to another country. Let's say you want to send a parcel from Sri Lanka to Japan, let's assume like that. You want to send a parcel. So now, normally what you do, you hand over that parcel to a courier service provider. You hand over. But after that, you are not questioning. Only thing you are telling, by that day or during that time, this parcel should be in that particular country. That is your requirement, but you don't question. How do you collect that one? Collect means they will come and collect, but after that, how do you pack it? Or how do you maybe consolidate that one? And how do you send it? Then how do you deliver? Whether it is by bike, whether it is by van, whether it is by bicycle, we never question. Why? That management decision is taken by that outsourcing company. Because courier companies are what? Outsourcing companies. They provide logistics services on behalf of us. So therefore, we recognize courier companies as what? Logistic outsourcing companies. So that is 100% maybe pure example to understand the difference between what? Hiring and outsourcing. We give the letter, we don't ask any question, but they will do the service on behalf of us. So that we can see what? With outsourcing. Okay. Now with actually at the same time, even if you have any confusion, so then even I can give you a chance to maybe clarify any idea. So then you can disturb me, right? So then you are welcome to ask any question, any clarification. At the same time, maybe at the end of the program, we have a different session to ask question, but relevant to this technical term. If you want to clarify anything, so you are welcome, because without clarification, we can't go further. So therefore, you are welcome to ask questions.
Sir, excuse me, sir, I have a small question. So when you talk about outsourcing, sir, so basically, if something goes wrong in the process where the outsourcing company or outsourcing company is responsible for, do they have to take responsibility for that specific error?
Actually, so then that depends on the agreement between the company and the owner of the goods and the outsourcing company. But most of the time, actually, responsibility is taken by the owner of the goods, because they have taken the insurance. The owner of the good has taken the insurance, but outsourcing company, they haven't taken, because if they take that one, they include that into their bill. Then the bill is very high. So therefore, in practice, most of the time, the owner of the good take the responsibility. That means take the insurance part of that.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So then again, actually, both way doing that means sometimes the outsourcing company will give the insurance, but the cost is very high. So that is why nowadays the owner of the goods, they were tend to get the insurance, because then the cost is less. That is the reason. Right. Okay. So now okay, with that we will look at this picture. So when you look at this one, we can see when you look at the symbols, so it is a kind of European country. And they say what? Due to outsourcing, any tax questions will be answered by the Rajiv Chandri Tax Agency of Bombay, India. So look at that, organization is in one country, but when we are going to call that particular organization, then the answer is coming from different. So nowadays, when we log into our websites, we can see what? We can see most of the time, maybe their customer help desk, they operate in 24 hours. Sometimes maybe that website may be UK or US or maybe Japan or based maybe a company. But when we are going to talk with the customer help desk, but the response may be coming from maybe Sri Lanka sometimes, or maybe from India, maybe some other Asian country. So that is actually a good example to understand that outsourcing, because what they have done, the entire customer management part, they have outsourced to what? Another company. So on behalf of that company, that outsourced company will give the service. Because maybe we are expert in maybe handling those tax matters, but we are not expert of what? Handling our customers. Let's say I produce steel. So I am expert in producing steel, but I am not good in what? Managing my customers. So therefore that customer management part, we can hand over to what? Third part. So now we know that nowadays, even if you look at our region in some countries, labor very expensive, even the land very expensive, even bills or the utility also very expensive. So therefore, what they have done, rather than producing or rather than taking that service from their country, the entire task they give to what? Another country in the region. Let's say maybe we will take a country maybe from maybe even if you take country from Europe, we know that even if you take for example, if you take Japan, we know that labor expensive. So even land expensive. Sometimes maybe even they have some, maybe even their opportunity cost is maybe very high. Sometimes maybe they can do that one, but to do that one, they have to bear what? A large opportunity cost. So therefore, what they feel like that it is better not to produce that item in their country, but to what? Produce, or maybe to get that service from their country and they hand over to what? Another country. Actually, even that will enhance what? That will enhance the regional cooperation. Because I think you have heard about the Toyota company. So some Toyota company, but you have heard about that. Toyota company is what? Toyota company is going to, is taking actually some services from Sri Lanka. So therefore, due to that one, what has happened? That the cooperation among countries, so then the cooperation is what? Going up, increasing, improving day by day. So therefore, this logistic outsourcing actually can play a big role. Even look at this example, it says what? The organization is in one country and the service is coming from different countries. So therefore, as a result of that one, then definitely the cooperation among countries, the cooperation in the region will improve. And another example, nowadays we are purchasing maybe like a mobile phone or the tabs manufactured from actually India. For example, Samsung and Nokia. So actually India, they are not manufacturing mobile phones, or Samsung, they don't manufacture. But what they do, they assemble it. And different part of that mobile phone is manufactured in different countries. Maybe that the keyboard or keypad is coming from, maybe keypad is coming from one country, and the chip coming from different country, and the casing leather part coming from another country, and maybe the packaging part is coming from different country, or the glass coming from different country. And then what they do, they assemble it and they what? And they deliver to the other countries. So therefore, actually that is another example of what? Outsourcing. Why different component they have outsourced to what? Different countries. And in one country, and we assemble it and we send to the market. So therefore, under outsourcing, actually what we can do, we can what? We can share our work, our internal tasks among different organizations, different countries, and different regions. Okay, so with that background, we will look at the evolution of outsourcing. So now we are talking about the logistics outsourcing, and also we should understand the evolution of outsourcing. Because what I want to mention, the evolution of the outsourcing, we want to understand the evolution of outsourcing very well. Why? One way we will see that the cooperation in the region very important to achieve those maybe new trend. So when you look at this picture, you can see the outsourcing has evolved up to 7 level, 7 PL. PL mean actually we call party logistics. 1 PL, 2 PL, 3 PL, party logistics. So therefore, it has developed up to 7 PL. So then without having proper regional cooperation or the agreement, understanding, we cannot achieve that target. But actually Sri Lanka is still, we are at 3PL level. So then we are struggling to go to 4PL level. But developed countries, they have what? They have achieved their target up to 7PL level. So therefore, if we want to go for target like that, we have to what? We have to enhance this regional cooperation, because we have to have some maybe agreement, maybe investment. So then mutual understanding, agreement. So then maybe rather than producing all the activities within the country, but if we are going to maybe give, or if we are going to spread that production, manufacturing part among countries, so then what happens? That country can benefit as well as the other countries can get benefit. So, for example, we know that if you take from Sri Lanka, if you take Coca-Cola company, Coca-Cola company is going to, or actually even now, they are taking material from one country and they are taking maybe the packaging part from a different country, and maybe they are marketing from another country, and customer handling part from a different country, and they are taking what? They are service from several countries, and they manufacture or they produce or manufacture the can, or they produce Coca-Cola in Sri Lanka. So like that. So as a result of that one, the country is getting big. So then because of the Toyota company in Japan, Sri Lanka is getting benefit. Why? The Toyota company has outsourced some business components to what? Different part of the world, the different countries in the world, especially in the region, because they're concerned about the region. So then they have outsourced to different countries in the region. Then those countries are getting benefit. Right. So then what is this 1PL, 2PL, 3PL, 4PL, 5PL, 7PL? So now we saw that if we want to achieve those maybe advanced layers of outsourcing, we have to enhance regional cooperation. Then let's see why. 1PL mean actually the idea is the 1PL, the term idea is you. You are the 1PL. You have some, let's say we will understand like that. You have some material or cargo or some parcel, for example, you want to send that to Anuradhapura. From Colombo to maybe Kandy, from Colombo to Anuradhapura, you want to send it. And then you will select the appropriate transport mode and send it. Maybe by rail, for example, you have parcel, and by road you can send by vehicle, or maybe rail you can take, even air can be used. So then you are the owner of the cargo, that parcel, you are the 1PL. Then the 2PL mean actually now I am going to select a mode, maybe by road, maybe by air. That we call what? 2PL. 1PL, 2PL. In that case, you select the mode and you send it. So 3PL mean actually a third party, and different parties come into the picture, and they are telling, okay, you don't select the mode. For example, you don't select the mode, give your parcel to us. We will look at the most appropriate mode and we will send it for you. So that is the involvement of what? 3PL. So now in Sri Lanka, we know that we have large amount of maybe manufacturing organizations or the firms. They don't have space, capacity to store their product. They won't store their raw material. They won't store their maybe finished product. So in that case, what they do, they outsource their warehousing part into what? 3PL company, third party logistics service providers. So sometimes that third party logistics service provider can be a Sri Lankan company, or can be maybe a company from maybe other region, other areas. That's also possible, right? So therefore they hand over that part. So then outsource, once they outsource that, for example, if you outsource warehousing part, that part will be managed by what? That outsourcing company. So that is the idea of 3PL. So then third parties come into the picture and they are taking on behalf of you, and they do that service for you. Our example was what? I want to outsource my warehousing because I don't have a warehouse, or I don't have enough space. So therefore warehousing and inventory management part, I want to hand over to another company. or otherwise I don't have a fleet of vehicle to distribute. So therefore, that distribution part I want to outsource. So then the outsourcing company will take that from you. Now they are taking, now they are proposing on behalf of you. And they will what? They will fulfill the requirement of your customers. Because customers belongs to you, not to the 3PL company. Although they are doing service on behalf of you, those are what? Those people are your customers. So then they should fulfill the customer requirement. Now with that, when we come to 4PL, so what is the idea of 4PL? So 4PL mean actually 4PL mean it is the advanced version of 3PL. As I mentioned earlier, still Sri Lanka is struggling to go to that 4PL layer. Under 4PL, what will happen? It is a kind of maybe a professional body or maybe a team. That team, what they do, they are managing 3PL and give the service. It is a separate body. They don't have any physical assets. Without having any physical assets, what they do, they get the service from the companies and they supply that on behalf of them. So it's like maybe they have gathered, let's say 20 people or 10 people gathered from different areas, and they have formed the organization, and they take the business from the manufacturer and they hand over to a 3PL company. So then the 4PL is what? Between the customer and the 3PL. 3PL will contact the 4PL, customer will contact the 4PL, then the 4PL will what? Fulfill the requirement to both sides. Right? So then now, as I mentioned earlier, now we are trying to what? Now we are trying to develop that one, that 4PL layer. And even 5PL actually, even we haven't thought of that, developing the 5PL layer. Under 5PL layer, what will happen? We are going to integrate, because even maybe relevant to our topic actually, the integration is very, very important. Because the integration we can do what? Via maybe what? Maybe a modern technology or web-based. So then that 5PL companies, what they do, they provide the logistics solution, outsourcing solution via what? Web-enabled technology. They are cooperation, or they are maybe integration to what? Web-enabled technology. And they provide what? Those services. So they provide services to the outsourcing companies and the government and the relevant parties via web-enabled technology. So that is the 5PL layer. So then at the same time, we have the 7PL. Actually, under 7PL layer is like 3PL plus 4PL. 3PL plus 4PL, because 3 plus 4, 7. That is the exact idea actually. So then within the same organization, you have both what? 3PL layer and the 4PL layer. So that is more advanced. I think in Sri Lanka, again, actually, I noticed that some organizations, and they are trying to develop that 4PL layer, but they're struggling. Why? To have that 4PL layer, you have to have a good 3PL layer as well as a good one, or maybe advanced 3PL layer as well as 4PL. So then only you can develop the 7PL. But the new trend, organizations or the manufacturers, they prefer 7PL. So they are not willing to go to 3PL. Why? The reason, if I am going to outsource 10 activities, I have to deal with 10 companies, 10 3PL providers. So what? It consumes my time. I don't have time to pay attention to those activities. That is why I am outsourcing. But if you are going to deal with maybe 10 service providers, again, what happened? Time consumed. So therefore, I am not willing to spend my time. So therefore, nowadays we are going for what? One bill, one contract, one bill concept. One bill, one contract under one umbrella, because that is 7PL. So that is the trend. So therefore, our target should be what? We have to enhance this regional cooperation, and then we should push this outsourcing market towards what? 7PL. Because 7PL you can't do alone. Because nowadays we have seen that the production or the manufacturing is what? It is not local. So the manufacturing is what? It is the manufacturing process is coming from different countries. So we are talking about international manufacturing, not local manufacturing. So you cannot do international manufacturing without the help of what? 7PL companies. But the 7PL companies, they can't develop without what? Having a what? Cooperation, especially in the region. Because we know that the regional cooperation is very, very important. Because all the time, most of the time, we have seen that the people or the countries in the region, they are helping us. So therefore, if you want to develop our outsourcing market in the region, so we look forward the development of the regional cooperation and understanding, and then through that we can what? We can go to our target. Because just by maybe offering 3PL services, we can't develop this country. Right? Therefore, we should seek the help from the what? The countries in the region by enhancing cooperation to enhance what? 7PL. Okay, so now now the time is yes 3:45, around 3:50. What time are we going to have a break?
So it's scheduled for 3:45. So
Okay.
if you're fine with it, we can have it now.
Okay, we can have it now. Okay, so then let's go for a 5 minutes break. And okay, I think before that one, I'm happy to answer if you have any problem regarding this technical term. I'm happy to answer now if you want to clarify anything before we go for a break.
Yeah. Could you clarify Amazon as a 7PL company?
Amazon as 7PL company.
Yes, sir.
So
Not
now actually I will tell like that. When you take a company, to understand whether that company is 3PL, especially 3PL, 4PL or 7PL, I will give a small hint. If it is a 3PL company, they should have physical supply chain assets like vehicle, warehouses, etc. They should have. If they have physical supply chain assets, then they come under what? 3PL. If they don't have any supply chain assets, they are coming under 4PL. They are helping us. They are giving these outsourcing services, but they don't have anyone. They don't have any maybe supply chain assets. Then we come under what? Then we come under 4PL. But under 7PL, they have both. They have 4PL layer within the same company. Yeah? 7PL means one company, only one company. Inside that company, they should have their what? They should have their 3PL layer as well as what? Their 4PL layer. 3PL layer means they have 3PL companies for outsourcing, distribution, export import management, like that. They have physical organizations with physical assets. At the same time, they have another layer. It is about intellectuals. They are expert in the field. Maybe 10-20 people, they are expert, right? So then they are providing what? That consultants, and they charge for that because they select the most appropriate 3PL for us. So when we have those two layers within the company, that company we can recognize as what? A company with 7PL. So 7PLs, we call 7PLs. But nowadays, it is like some companies, they just claim 4PL, 5PL. It's like 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, like that. But however, if you are not providing that particular service, you can't claim as what? 7PL. But nowadays, maybe as a kind of maybe trademark, as a trend, just to say like that, we advance. They just put the word what? 7PL. They can't use like that. So you have to provide that service, then only you can claim it. But normally we are not putting that word. We are not putting like that. We are 7PL or the ABC 7PL company. So like that, they are not putting. They just put the company name. But by looking at the operation, we should recognize whether it is a 4PL company or 7PL company. Otherwise, they are not measuring it. We look at the operation, then we what? Then we recognize it as a 3PL, 4PL, 5PL, or 7PL. Right. So yes, so that is the way we have to think about the organization. Right. Okay. We will start our discussion again. We were talking about evolution of logistics outsourcing. At the same time, we saw that the regional cooperation is very, very important if we want to develop the logistics outsourcing market in the region, especially in Sri Lanka. So I mentioned you that we are at 3PL level. But if we want to get the real benefit of logistics outsourcing, we want to reach 7PL level. But it is not possible to reach 7PL without the support from the other countries, especially countries in the region. So therefore, that cooperation is very, very important, understand. So we need their help. So then with that, we can develop up to 7PL. Because then only the organizations can achieve the real benefit of outsourcing. Okay, so with that, we will look at what are the 3PL services offered by 3PL companies. 3PL companies mean 3PL service providers. So then, because in the world, even in Sri Lanka, we have large number of 3PL service providers, and the normally we call 3PL companies. That's the term we are using. We call 3PL companies, and 3PL companies are offering these services. But the most important thing, we should offer these services not within the country, but as well as what we should provide these services. So in the region, then only we can get a lot of benefits. So then only the country can earn more dollars. Nowadays, we have a problem with the exchange rate, you can remember. So then we are talking that all the time. So then these are solutions actually. If you can enhance this outsourcing market in the region, the country can gain a lot of dollars. The country can gain a lot of foreign exchange. So that is possible. So now the 3PL service providers, and they are providing warehousing, inventory management, reverse logistics, order picking. Now you can see, but I didn't list here all because it takes 3, 4, 5 pages. But here I note down few. You can see order picking, order processing, freight forwarding, packaging and labeling, and fleet management, courier selection, carrier selections, and cross-docking, custom brokerage, etc. Distribution. So customs clearance. So we have large amount of activities, and we can what? We can outsource these activities, and the service provider will pay attention to those activities, and they will give the service to us. Because we have a lot of strategic reasons for outsourcing. So why do we outsource? So if you take a country, that country is outsourcing their logistics activities to another country. So why do they outsource? Even if you take a company in Sri Lanka, that company will outsource their logistics activities to another company. Why do they outsource? So you can have a list again. There can be maybe thousands of reasons, hundreds of reasons, thousands of reasons, because different companies are having different reasons. So those are the strategic reasons behind outsourcing. To face that challenge, strategically, what they do, they outsource. So now if you look at the world situation, so these are the figures coming to the outsourcing. So most of the companies in the world, they outsource into what? Reduce cost. So you can see that because if you are going to perform that task by your company, then what happens? Cost is very high. So therefore, what they can do, they can outsource and they can what? Reduce costs. So therefore, 59% of the companies in the world, and they are outsourcing their logistic activities to reduce cost. Because even when the 3PL providers, when they think about their service, they have to make sure that they reduce what? Their service cost. Why? From the customer side, that means from the manufacturer side, they want to reduce logistic cost. And from the other side, we have the 3PL providers, and they should what? They should reduce their cost. So then cost cutting tool. So then I told you that again, if you take an example, we will take a Toyota company again. We know that Toyota company is having a competition, huge competition, especially from European market. So the Toyota company should compete with some other brand in Japan, as well as what? The brands or different vehicle, maybe a brand coming from European market and even from Indian market. So then as a tool or as a strategy to maybe to face that comparison, what they have done, some of their logistic activities have outsourced. Not only to maybe logistics service providers in their country, but in what? In the region. So in the region, they have selected maybe companies or the 3PL companies, and they have outsourced. And then what happened? In that way, they are going to be more competitive. The Toyota company can gain what? Can gain competitive advantage. So what are the advantages they have over their competitors in the world, in the region? So then they compare to advantage, they can gain by what? Outsourcing. Why? Outsourcing will help them in what? Numerous ways. You can see here, cost cutting tool, enables focus on core business. Their core business is what? Maybe producing vehicles, core business. But other parts are what? Not core. So then if you can outsource other activities, then you can pay more attention to what? Production of vehicles, producing vehicles. So then now in the world, 57% of the companies, they have outsourced their logistic activities. Why? They want to pay more attention to their what? Core business. Because if you don't pay your attention to your core business, you can't be competitive in the world, competitive in the market. Why? You have to maybe develop your product. So then without product development, you don't have customers. So then you can pay more attention to your main business, core activity, by outsourcing your logistic functions. So solve capacity issues. So even if you take, for example, if you take Colombo, we have large number of organizations and they don't have what? They don't have the capacity. So even the same problem with the developed countries. So developed countries. So I think actually if you can enhance this maybe cooperation in the region, because most of the business we can pay toward logistic outsourcing, because we have seen that the labor becoming very expensive in most of the Asian countries, especially the developed countries in Asia. Their labor becoming more expensive. So therefore, it is not economical for them to what? Do some of the logistic function at their premises. It is not economical. That means it is what? Cost for them. Opportunity cost is very high. Therefore, what they can do, they can what? They can enhance the cooperation in the region, and they can go for some maybe contract, and maybe they can sign some agreement. So after that, maybe some of the logistics function they can hand over to what? The maybe emerging economics in the region, because Sri Lanka is struggling especially. So we can take some business, even some other countries like maybe Bangladesh, and they are struggling. Even Nepal, those countries are struggling to develop their countries. So then we have in the Asian region, we have the developed countries. So by enhancing the cooperation among the region, what we can do, we can take that outsourcing business to our countries, right? So then we can recognize what are the countries, and we can take, and that way we can what? We can develop our economy. So then enhance service quality and the critical to business needs. So that there are access to intellectual capacity. So then we have a lot of advantages, and those advantages we can gain by outsourcing. So then we look at the world picture. So this shows what? Most of the companies, they prefer to outsource their what? Domestic transportation. I think that we can't touch. Why? It is happening domestically. But warehousing, sometime maybe we can incorporate. We can incorporate, because they will have the global warehouses, or they will have the regional warehouses. So in the region, in different countries. So in that angle, we can maybe help them. So we have the big manufacturers in the Asian region, and then they need what? The warehouses maybe in different countries, in different region. So then we can take that business. So then we can provide what? Outsourcing services to those companies. Even in the world, 66% of the companies, they have outsourced warehouse. 86% of the companies, they have outsourced their domestic transportation. Even 60% of the companies, they have outsourced what? International transportation. That we can touch. Because 3PL companies can touch that part. Especially why? Because we should think about the global market. because domestic transportation we can't touch it, but the warehousing part and the international transportation we can touch. Freight forwarding we can touch. Even the customs brokerage, even the customer maybe management. So even the custom clearance and the rate negotiations, export import management, and those angles we can pay attention. So therefore there should be a dialogue. So there should be some agreement in the region. But to go to those agreements, to have that dialogue, first we have to develop the cooperation in the region. That right. So now this now the Japan has taken that maybe initiative. So they are trying to maybe improve or maybe increase or maybe enhance this cooperation. But at the end, developing countries can get the benefit. Actually, we can get benefit. Maybe more than them, we have the benefit. That cooperation will benefit developing country a lot. So then we look at in that angle. Now, when we look at the future or the trends of supply chain management or the current trends, one trend is expanding the supply chain. I told you that earlier, supply chains are what? Supply chains are localized, but now globalized. I told a few examples, even Toyota company, an example, and most of the electronic devices or the companies they produce electronic devices, example, the supply chains are expanding. Earlier, supply chain is within the country, but now it is what? Between countries. So therefore, that we can say. So that is why earlier I mentioned that when the supply chains are expanding, that benefit is going to what? Going to the maybe countries in the region. So therefore, we should not let those benefit goes to what? Benefit goes to other countries, but we have to take it. So then we have to recognize what are the maybe strength we have. So Sri Lanka, what are the strength we have? If you take another region, country maybe Nepal, what are the strength they have? Maldives, what are the strength they have? Maybe India, what are the strength they have? So we have recognized. So then from the maybe region leaders, manufacturers, the opportunities we have to take. So then now we can see that supply chains are expanding, maybe day by day. Nowadays, almost all the supply chains are globalized. So therefore, that benefit we have to take. Because when we talk about expanding, as you can see here, so we can see the breadth and the depth. That the breadth means what? Foreign manufacturing companies and maybe foreign suppliers and the foreign customers like that. And the depth means actually earlier, if you look at the supply chain, producer, then we have the wholesaler, retailer, customer like that. Manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, customer. But now not like that. We have the manufacturer, wholesaler 1, 2, 3 like that. Then the retailer 1, 2, 3 like that. Even the what? Customer 1, 2, 3. Then you have the last maybe person who has going to consume it. So therefore, the new tiers are coming to the supply chain. That means supply chains are expanding in terms of breadth as well as what? In terms of depth. So then we have to get the opportunity of those. But how do we get the opportunities? That we have to talk. Okay, so now, so I will give an example to explain this regional cooperation is important to improve the logistic performance in Sri Lanka. I will give an example. So I think maybe sometime maybe you are not aware, the World Bank is measuring the logistic performance of all the countries, almost all actually in the world. They are measuring logistic performance. And they have developed an index called LPI, Logistics Performance Index. So it is a benchmarking. So then we can learn from maybe developed countries. So then we can learn from maybe Japan, how they have developed their supply chain, how they have developed. So we can learn. So therefore, we can benchmark our logistic performance with what? With the rest of the world. We can do that one. So then the World Bank has developed this logistic performance index based on 6 dimensions. So you can see here customs and infrastructure, service quality, timeliness, international shipments, tracking and tracing, by considering those 6 dimensions, they have developed logistics performance index. So then they compare around 160 countries. That number varies maybe year to year, and the World Bank captures perception about the logistic performance of that particular country. And then what they do, they conduct this worldwide survey every 2 years and they publish it. So then countries, they can compare their performance with others. So therefore, what we can do in the region, so then we can recognize, if you want to develop the region, we want to recognize, so our logistic performance, because logistics play a big role in international trade. So now the world, right? So then without international trade, we can't talk. So then even nowadays we are facing a lot of problem because of the because of the problems we are facing relevant to what? International trade. So then if we have a strong international trade, what we can do, we can overcome a lot of problems we are facing, especially in the region. So therefore, in order to improve international trade in the region, we have to improve what? Logistics. So therefore, how do we improve logistics? We recognize our performance and we compare what? The performance with the rest of the countries in the region. Then we recognize what are the areas to be improved. So then we can negotiate, we can cooperate. After that, we can improve the logistic performance of the entire region. Maybe if you take one country, just by improving the logistic performance of that country, the world can't get benefit. The region can't get benefit. So if you want to get the benefit, then what we have to do, we have to improve the logistic performance of the entire region. Right? So then maybe because the reason actually nowadays production is globalized. If you take the production process, all the countries are involved, almost all the countries are involved. So therefore, we are supposed to improve the logistic performance of all the countries in the region. So then there should be a good cooperation, and through that, we are supposed to enhance the logistic performance of those countries. So therefore, as I mentioned earlier, what they do, they calculate logistic performance. Actually, they don't calculate each year. So every other year they are calculating. Now, if you look at the performance for 2018, because of the pandemic situation, they didn't calculate for 2020. Sometimes they will calculate for 2022. They calculate 7, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, but then 20, but they didn't. But 2022, they will calculate. So now, according to the logistic performance, you can see our region. We are talking about the Asian region. So then we can see what. So when we we can get help, or then we can learn a lot from where? From Japan. You can see. So according to the logistic performance index, Japan, their place is at 5th place. So in the world, because this number they change, year to year. Sometime maybe that Germany this year one, maybe next year maybe another country will come to the top. So, however, if you can understand what are the logistic strength they have, so then you can see they have taken 4.3 out of 5, and then these are the scores they have received for different dimensions. So then Sri Lanka, we can benchmark with Japan, and even not only Sri Lanka, other countries in the region, they can benchmark with Japan. So after that, we can we can cooperate. So then we can see how do we overcome our challenges, because because we know that in some areas we are very poor. We have to improve that one. We have to enhance that one. Then how do we that one? We benchmark. We recognize what are the areas to be improved, and then what we do through that, we are trying to we are trying to enhance the cooperation. So that also another angle actually. So if that is one angle. From the other angle, if you enhance the cooperation, then automatically we can overcome those problems, because we have both way, right? We can go both ways. So then when you look at here, Sri Lanka, unfortunately, our rank is what? 94. Our rank is 94. So then even some countries, even if you look at even our region, so there are some countries they are maybe above us. Above us means their rank is maybe below. Below mean a low number, right? Low number. So that means our 95 mean in the list we had the 94th place. So that is bad actually. Because we have a target. Sri Lanka, we have a target. We want to develop country as a what? Logistic hub in the region. So then if you can develop Sri Lanka as a logistic hub, and definitely the regional cooperation you can develop. But how do we develop logistic hub? How do we develop Sri Lanka as a logistic hub? And we want to learn the lesson from what? The developed countries in the region. And in that case, actually, I can recommend, I can propose. So good example is what? Japan. So we can learn the lesson from them. So how did they achieve that logistic performance? And then we can study that one. So then by studying, by incorporating, we can what? Improve our logistic performance in the country. Otherwise, we cannot develop Sri Lanka as a what? Logistic hub. So it's a dream for us, not possible. Just by maybe just by obtaining 94, that is our rank. By taking 94, you can't develop Sri Lanka as a logistic hub. So therefore, we have a lot to learn from the countries in the region. Right. Okay. So then, yes, I think I just want to show this picture. This diagram. It shows what? It shows the picture or the situation in maybe Sri Lanka, India, and Pakistan. You can see. Right. So, but unfortunately, you can see in 2016, Sri Lanka not available. You can't find Sri Lanka. The reason was what? The reason was that year, the World Bank couldn't find enough number of respondents to calculate logistic performance index for Sri Lanka. Look at, we are in one way, we are trying to develop Sri Lanka as a logistic hub. But unfortunately, in 2016, the World Bank couldn't find enough number of respondents to calculate logistic performance index for Sri Lanka. So those are the problems we want to address. So then these problems we cannot address without help of what? The people in the region. So that is why we want to look at that regional cooperation. So then without regional cooperation, you can't do that one. Okay, so then now with that, we will come to the last point. So then my conclusion is that regional cooperation is very important for logistic outsourcing in Asia, as well as logistic outsourcing also what? Improves regional cooperation in Asia. So therefore, it's a kind of win-win situation. Right? So then if you can increase logistic outsourcing, that will what? That will improve, that will increase regional cooperation. Again, that improvement of regional cooperation again will improve what? Logistic outsourcing. So that is the last thing I want to mention. So thank you very much. So now the discussion is open for questions. Yes, thank you. Yes, yes, please. Do you want to clarify anything? Any question? Right, okay. So then if you are clear about what I explained, and if you don't have to clarify anything, so I think I'm going to conclude my presentation. And thank you very much for all of you, especially thank you very much, Dr. Hemantha Premaratne, for inviting me to discuss this lecture on regional cooperation and logistics outsourcing in Asia. So thank you very much. And the organizing committee, thank you very much.
Sir, we have a small vote of thanks prepared. Can you wait for that as well? Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the students of the short course on cultural linkages towards an Asian ideology. First, I would like to thank our lecturer, Dr. Vasantha Premaratne, for sharing his time and knowledge with us and for delivering this important lecture amidst his busy schedule. Sir, your address set the tone for this course by clearly indicating the role of Regional Cooperation and Logistics Outsourcing in Asia. We are blessed to have you contribute to this course. Next, I wish to thank Dr. Hemantha Premaratne and all other staff at KDU who have brought these lectures together. Thank you. Last but not least, I thank all participants from our university for joining us today. Your participation has made this lecture a successful event, and I believe it has provided you with an insight into the regional cooperation and logistics outsourcing of Asia. To conclude, let me once more express my gratitude to Dr. Vasantha Premaratne for delivering today's lecture. Sir, it is an honor to have you with us, and your time and efforts are deeply appreciated. Thank you.